Welcome back everyone to Hearts of Iron 4 Black Ice with Germany. Turkish Straits question. The zone around the Straits of the Bosphorus and Dardanelles have been demilitarized by the Lausanne Treaty. Yet this important region may well fall into the wrong hands in its current state. Is it better to let the Turks have the full sovereignty there? So apparently they demilitarized this zone. Okay, and we have received some artillery from Japan. Well, that's good. Let's see if it actually gives us artillery. We have 28 currently, and then we're gonna refresh. Doesn't appear like we got it. That is very unfortunate. If we had actually gotten that artillery, that would have been useful. So it appears that the events are broken. Oh well. So yeah, ammunition factory level 1 reached. We have now 1 ammunition factory. This building improves your land, naval, and air forces to be more effective as they use more ammunition to both attack and defend. Or they can use more ammunition to both attack and defend. Capture or build more factories to improve the effects. So this is why we are focusing so hard on it, because it basically gives us a lot of bonuses towards division attack and aircraft attack and the likes, which is going to be very useful. Gives us the 11th Olympiad in Berlin. You may read that if you wish. I am not going to read it. But yeah, 1936 Olympics in Berlin are quite famous, obviously, for all the events that happened there. And there we are with the Spanish Civil War. Okay, so we all knew this was coming, and we are going to send some volunteers. Now, we can only send 2 divisions because this is limited by our number of divisions. And so we are gonna, I think, send these 2 panzer divisions, the 2nd and the 3rd. Mostly because we want the experience that we gain from fighting in Spain to be on our most important units. And then we also, we also would like to have it on units that aren't already very heavily experienced. As you can see, the 1st Panzer Division is already quite seasoned, but these 2 are only at regular. The other candidates that we would have to send around there would be the SS regiments, but they're only regiments and they're probably going to be expanded. And so the other choices would be the semi-motorized infantry division, but with that division, we have the problem that it's a semi-motorized and not exactly motorized. So it is going to be of limited usefulness, and we're going to have to upgrade it soon enough because their speed isn't quite comparable to a normal division. Now, I really like to use these occasions, like sending volunteers, also to train my generals. And is there a... Really? I'm pretty sure this guy is a joke. Figurine, yeah. If you know those Hitler parodies, you know what joke that is. We're not gonna go over it, but yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah, I essentially like to use generals that have good traits already, and so can improve their skill. But unfortunately, we don't really have generals that have bad skill and good traits. So we're just gonna send Rommel because he's got good traits, and we can develop more of those. So we're gonna send the volunteers. Right now, they're going to take 45 days to arrive, which is higher than, I believe, 15 of the standard game. We're also going to start some Lend-Lease. We're going to send, I believe, 40 convoys. And then we are going to Lend-Lease, I guess, some Panzer 1s. Because we've got a ton of those, and we don't really care about those. And then we don't really care about sending our guns, because we're going to get land experience regardless of whether or not we send over guns. We're gonna send fighters. We're gonna send 100 of those, and we're gonna send some close air supports. We've got some Heinkel HE-66. I believe those are close air supports. So we're gonna send 100 of those, and we are gonna accordingly. Where are you, airfield? Airfield or airfield? You're going to accordingly disband one of the close air support groups so that we have the planes to send over, and we are going to make sure to prioritize the Lend-Lease. Oh, we can't prioritize the Lend-Lease. Well, that's fine then. Okay. So the next equipment is going to be delivered in 29 days. We've already shipped over quite a few of the Lend-Lease, it seems. Required, produced, transported. Oh, so we haven't actually transported. Okay, fine. So yeah, we're sending over the volunteers, and they're going to be arriving by ship soon enough, which is hopefully going to be fun. Oil from Peru, sure. They're not sending us our oil. Dix. So we can modify our government, obviously, because we've got so much political power gain. I think we are going to take Heinz Skadarian Blitzkrieg Furist, but let's first see what we are researching so that we can see better what we could go for. We could go for the carrier, because we're going to have the Seidlitz class available to us. So I guess a ship designer would not be that bad. This would be armor, and this would be reducing deck size. Reducing deck size is very bad for aircraft carriers, but it's a minus 10%, and you trade that off for 10% visibility and, or rather less visibility and more maximum speed. Obviously, because this is supposed to be used in raiding, but less surface visibility for carriers is really good, because it's going to be reducing the chances that the enemy aircraft are actually going to be coming for you, I believe. And then more speed just generally means that you're going to be able to run away quicker. So I'm thinking of it, and I think it's a decent choice. It's also going to improve our submarines by quite a bit. Now this other one, this is going to give us more armor, but I'm not really quite sure as to how useful armor would be on a carrier. What it would be really useful for would be that 10% armor and naval firepower on capital ships. So heavy cruisers and battleships and battle cruisers. Those are all very good, but we're going to take Blum and Voss. And then next thing we're going to take is a aircraft designer, so we get less air research time to actually get planes on our carriers. In the meantime, it looks like our allies are doing quite well against the Republicans. And once we get the 1936 industrial effort, yes, that's the Flugzeugdampfer, and we're going to take the Seidlitz class. Now, Black Ice has added light carriers as well. This first one is an escort carrier. Normally would have 15 deck size. It looks like our company gave it 1, and it's also extremely slow. Our company is giving it 4 more knots of speed, but normally would be 20, which is pretty pathetic. So the first one is not that good, the first model of escort carrier, but then once it gets to the second one, it starts becoming decent. Then the third one is pretty damn good. But we're gonna take the fleet carrier, we're gonna take the jump, and we're gonna go for the tougher option to build, because once we actually build those ships, we're gonna have a much better time of it. Now, Deutsche Kolonialkriegerbund. This is essentially a veterans association for the veterans of the Africa campaign in World War I. We're gonna support it because it's gonna lead to more events later. This is from the Tanganyika mod, by the way. We have HQ communications. We could take radio. Considering we're about to enter a war, radio is going to be useful. I doubt that the Spanish Civil War is going to last 178 days, but it would be useful to have just in case. You know, I could have also used Steiner, because instead of having German General, which is 3% attack, defense, speed, you have well, a very similar modifier to attack, defense, and division speed, but also more division recovery rate from Waffen-SS. And he's also got some really nice traits, but he's only a competent general, so he doesn't have as much potential for later on improving himself. Now, we're going to have the delay in 43 days, and the National Focus for Wehrmacht is going to take 56 days, so we're not gonna be in time, but we're just gonna let it simmer with its points for a while. And once we actually research that, we're gonna be able to actually research it. and we're not going to lose any research points. Okay, so we have 2 divisions in Leon. Okay, that's quite a far away from the front. Now, in the north, there's quite a bit of bad terrain around Barcelona, in general in the area of Catalonia, but we're gonna go there regardless and end that right away. We do get some extra divisions available from our mobilization waves, but that's fine. And then we're just gonna create our plan just to get some extra planning bonus. We're gonna wait so that the strategic redeployment penalty wears off, and then we're gonna go in and start fighting. We could try to take Saragossa, but the city is a little bit too well defended because of the city modifier for defense. However, on the open ground, our panzer divisions basically can't be pierced. So their international brigades and infantry divisions are going to be easy prey for our men, especially if they come in with support from the nationalist militias. I wonder if we're going to be getting air experience anytime soon from those aircraft that we have coming in. Looks like the enemy has air superiority, so we're going to need to get those planes to the nationalists ASAP. And now we have managed to grab ourselves some nice stuff, and we have received, or no, we are sending infantry equipment to China. No. And artillery to Hungary, no. And we also get more divisions. Okay, so we're just going to organize those divisions quickly enough. I think it's you. Yes, it's you. These guys are about to be fully equipped, so once they are, we will assign them to some division or some army. In the meantime, that's a lot of enemy divisions, but I think we can beat them. Even though it's hills, so that mountain brigade that they have is getting bonuses. And even though our organization is pathetically low because we've been fighting this entire time, we can defeat those enemy divisions. However, our flanks are a little bit exposed. So once they're gone, we're just going to stop and we're going to recuperate. Never mind, they decided to go regardless. And yeah, you're going to be waiting for a couple days. If you see this, we're already getting pretty heavy amounts of experience because we are in heavy fighting and we get the trucks workshops. We're going to go for the artillery workshops or tank workshops. I feel like tanks for now. And then once Wehrmacht is complete, yeah, fine. Yeah, we've already got quite a lot of experience because the units that we are fighting, if we look to the theater, are not capable of penetrating our panzer divisions, so we are not actually losing that many tanks. As you can see, we lost like 6 tanks in that combat, and that was going on for quite a while. We've lost in total something like 11 tanks, and so only 500 manpower lost because we've also got obviously motorized infantry, sorry, not companies, battalions in our divisions. So we're going to be taking a few losses from those, but our overall losses are very low, which means that our units are going to be gaining experience and not losing any from dying, which is why that we're getting all that. Having a aircraft company, CV naval bomber operational range and naval attack is good. However, we're going to be using Air Force for a lot of different things. Henschel would also give us some of that, but oh, would you look at that? Every single company gives bonuses towards the aircraft that the company historically produced. That's kind of neat. So for that, we would obviously be wanting Messerschmitt because most of our airplanes are going to be Messerschmitts. So having that would be quite reliably useful. Dornier, yeah, that's pretty bad. Focke-Wulf, Focke-Wulf is for multi-roles, I think, and for some bombers. And Junkers is obviously for light bombers and close air supports. Having better attack on the Ju-87 would be very good, but I think Messerschmitt is going to be by far the superior company. And this guy is still waiting for the Wehrmacht national focus. Saragossa right now seems to be pretty free for the taking. Never fucking mind. Here comes the mixed mountain brigade to ruin our day. So we're gonna wait on that, and we're gonna take out these guys. We could very easily come in and encircle them and win the war for our friends, but we don't want to win the war quite yet. Why? Because we want to gain as much experience from essentially farming the very weak militias that the Republican Spanish troops will be. Want to farm them. That is the gist of it, and so we're gonna be just gaining experience from that. We're gonna take Special Complex after Wehrmacht, and then we are gonna be taking that Land Doctrine, Belay, or sorry, not Elastic Defense. Because as you can already see, we are already at seasoned experience level. And if we had just surrounded them and taken them out, then we wouldn't have the opportunity to continue fighting them in various different battlegrounds. We're also going to be making sure of actually only going to hills or lower in terms of actual terrain, I guess, harsh terrain modifiers, because we don't want to go to mountains. In mountains, we're going to be losing tanks, and we don't want that to happen. So now that we have that underway, what's that in terms of terrain? That's hills, and then we're gonna go to the hills here, because over here there is a bit of a mountain range near I'm not sure, near Valencia, and we don't want the mountain range to fuck us up. So our plans are gonna be adjusted accordingly, like that. So we have the BF-109C, and since we took Messerschmitt, I believe that's gonna be already getting the bonuses. Not quite sure on that, but pretty sure it is. We can take the Ju-87A. Yeah, I believe that's a good decision right now. We're gonna be researching things very quickly because of our pretty useful... Alright, we don't have any air experience, so we can't modify our plane. Yeah, because of our good companies, we're going to be very quick in researching these things. We can get Flugzeugdampfer, but it's not going to be worth it because it's only a carrier one. And plus, we don't have the shipyards ready, regardless, because our dockyards are still busy building the Scharnhorst battlecruisers. So they're going to be quite busy with that. And we've got a ton of fighters sitting around. Soon enough, we're going to be putting them over to good use. And here is why we research those radios, is to come into those combats and help out our allies in combats that they have initiated and we haven't. So despite the forest, we didn't really lose anything. And right now we're gonna finish off this part of Republican Spain. And right now, I don't like this at all, because we are a little bit overextended and maybe we could lose. Yeah, we could get encircled here, so let's pull back. Let's try to pull back to the city, and then once we're in Zaragoza, yeah, it obviously wants to go back to the plan, but yeah, for now we're going to need to be fighting over on this front to make sure that our flanks are secure. So there's a land fort in this province, which is not good, but I guess it's fine. We're going to be plowing through that anyway because of our armor bonus. And now we have air superiority, which is good. We're still not getting any air experience, which is a problem. Are we actually giving them the Lend-Lease? Says that we did. Yeah, it's all been delivered, so I really don't know. Well, we delivered the fighters, and now we're going to be delivering the bombers, but I don't know. Mechanical computing is done, and we don't have any more engineering techs to research, so we are going to go for tool maintenance, because that is going to improve our production efficiency cap and repair speed for factories. The improved machine tools are also pretty good, but they decrease the amount of construction speed for military and civilian factories. So we want to take those as late as possible so that we have our construction going at maximum speed. And then we also have Concentrated Industry 2, which is going to decrease our recruitable population. So also that is not going to be quite as good as the other ones. Focus on your Focus 2. These are just to give us focuses without having to actually take them. We're going to go no thanks because we want the maximum. We want the maximum available to us. I don't want you to go into the mountains without strategic redeployment because that's going to give you attrition. Attrition loses tanks. Losing tanks is bad. And then we can take more laws or more research companies. For research companies, I would enjoy Mauser for small arms, but right now we don't really need that. A tank designer might be okay. How are we on tank research? We're soon enough going to need some tank research. And obviously we always need industrial research, so also that is a option. Tank research, we have quite a few. I'm liking Alket. Less build cost for light armor and medium tanks, and more reliability, and more soft attack for medium tanks is a very nice bonus. This one too, MIAG, that's also very nice. It doesn't decrease the lovely build cost, but it increases maximum speed, which is quite good. We're gonna take the maximum speed increase. I'm a simple man and I like my tanks to be fast, so that's what we're gonna go for. We're gonna encircle Barcelona. In fact, there's no need to encircle Barcelona. We're gonna just take it. And because we took Barcelona, it seems that the war is over. Okay. I honestly thought that with Cordoba under the control of the Republicans, they would have had enough national unity to go on, but it looks like they didn't. Okay. So we have the special complex. And now, what can we take? Now, we're gonna have Panzer IV Ausf A completed in 30 days. But we're also going to have the Stuka completed in 74. So both Luftwaffe and Achtung Panzer are good. We could just take SS Verfügungstruppe in the meantime, while we decide. In the economy tree, because it's 1937, we can also take the 1937 industrial effort, which means that we're going to take that. Because we want the civilian factories as quickly as possible. I don't really like building civilian factories anymore. I much prefer just building military factories and improving my military production. And then letting my national focuses take care of the civilian military factories. Okay, sure. I like letting the national focuses take care of the normal factories. Because they can do that quite nicely. Especially when it's a powerful research tree like Germany's in Black Ice. So let's rearrange our trade because we have gotten quite a few more resources than we did before. And we also have the Verfügungstruppe, which is the SSVT thing that we've already received a couple of. You can read that if you want. I just skimmed over it just to see exactly what it was about. Nothing too interesting. And we also got some surplus of chromium. Now, it's going to be getting a little bit harder to actually manage these things with resources, but we have to do that. And right now we also need to take the 1937 industrial effort. the various different parts of our industry that we are going to be focusing on are... Oh, so we have the Verfügungstruppe, hold on. And they are, I believe, just the... Oh, these are quite good. Semi-motorized infantry, though. They have half motorized and half semi-motorized. Well, that's not quite as useful as I would like it to be. Because that is a 6-speed regiment. Okay? I guess it's in better infrastructure. Right, hold on. Let's gather them all in the same place so I can compare them correctly. Get to Berlin, you dicks. And we also have some civilian factories free. That is because we built all the munitions factories. We are at level 1. We need more of those. We also need truck factories. Small arms factories, although those aren't quite as important. Uniform factories are not quite as good because they only reduce your, I believe, attrition, which is, well, useful, sure, but not really that useful. And then, well, that's obviously because, like, you know, better clothing or whatever, you don't die from the winter. I'm guessing that's the theory behind it. I don't know. And then we're going to get some aircraft factories. Soon enough, we're going to have the artillery, tank, and other factories all available. And I'm not quite sure what's the maximum level for this, unfortunately, which is a bit of a problem. So we get the ammo factory too because we just finished building one. We get the Deutsche Pfadfinder, I'm guessing that's how you pronounce that, von Südwestafrika. Yeah, I guess it's more of these Africa events. Eventually we're gonna come back to Africa and retake our rightful colonies or whatever, whatever colonial enthusiasts say. So we have the Panzer IV-A. One thing to note is that we can already research the Tiger. We're gonna do that once we take the treaty with the USSR and the Schwerpanzer focus. I'm not quite sure if we actually get heavy tank bonus research from the treaty. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. So we're going to be waiting on that and seeing. But I definitely want to take the Tiger quickly because, well, every Nazi's wet dream is the Tiger. So we need to have those. We're going to take the Panzer II DE. Because from the Panzer II DE, we can take the Bison, the self-propelled gun. Which is very useful. Because we like self-propelled artillery a lot. And having that is going to be good. However... Okay, 6.5 maximum speed, which is not quite as good as the tanks, but it's good enough to keep up with at least motorized infantry, I believe. And it's got quite a ridiculous amount of soft attack, 26, which is very good. So we're going to be producing those. Unfortunately, the main problem with it is... No, never mind. I also get the Marder 2, which is going to be very useful in our armor divisions as a tank destroyer. So we're going to be making sure to mass produce those models as much as possible and as unrealistically as possible because, well, those vehicles in real life were only built during the war to, well, compensate for the fact that the Panzer II was not exactly that useful anymore, and I'm lagging. I got a lag spike. I wonder why. What is going on? Hello? Hold on. Okay, I'm not quite sure what that freeze was caused by, but I guess it's fine. Because it fixed itself, so that's pretty nice. As long as it does that, I'm okay with it. Now, we're gonna look at these divisions. That was what I wanted to do, and they have the same speed. Well, sure. Oh, right, because of the motorized artillery. Right. Or wait, no, they have the same movement speed. So then what's the difference between semi-motorized and motorized? Is there a research for it? Like, is there a semi-motorized truck? Enables light infantry trucks and semi-motorized infantry units. And this enables motorized infantry. So what's the difference? What is it? More breakthrough on this one, a tiny bit more hard attack, same suppression, more HP, more weight, more organization, which is nice, more supply use, who gives, and this has less hardness. Oh, okay. Well, then that's actually not as bad as I thought, because I thought it was going to be the speed that it was going to be the problem. But since it's not the speed and the hardness, it just means that they're going to die quicker. So I guess it's fine-ish. Movement 1.5, and yet they have also more movement in certain terrain types. More movement bonuses, but just a slight tiny bit. Nobody really gives a shit about those. Yeah. So I think what we're gonna do is wait. So I'm guessing that there's actually a different type of equipment for those, or is it all just transport vehicles? I'm guessing it's just all transport vehicles. Let's just go to our recruitment and have the semi-motorized. They use transport vehicles. 556 of them. And these use transport vehicles. 557 of them. In fact, they use less utility vehicles, which is nice because utility vehicles are just annoying to produce. So I guess that actually motorized is better. However, our semi-motorized divisions are slightly bigger off the bat, because they are these are binary divisions, so they only have 2 regiments, and they also have only 2 artillery attached to those, so they're just a bit smaller. We're gonna be soon enough modifying these things because we got a tiny bit of army experience from that conflict, and also soon enough we're gonna have a army theorist, essentially Guderian, giving us passive army experience. And we're also gonna do some exercising to get more army experience. So yeah, I think I'm gonna be ending it now. So I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed so far this playthrough, and I'll see you soon with some more Black Ice. See you then.